Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the New Partner Spotlight with Redtail Technology and RetireUp. My name is Jonathan Maddock, and I'm a subject matter expert here with Redtail Technology. I'm also the co-presenter of the strategy track at Redtail University. So if you ever get a chance to head out to one of the Redtail universities around the United States, you'll get a chance to meet me. We're very excited about this partnership with RetireUp. They have a very strong product, and today we're going to be kind of looking at those great features that they have to offer, but also going to take a look at the integration and what makes Redtail and RetireUp together so powerful. If you aren't familiar with RetireUp, RetireUp Pro is a powerful planning platform designed to save time, deliver more prospects, and close more business. They've heard from different advisors using RetireUp Pro solution that it allows them to track and manage more clients and enable them to land larger deals. Joining me today, I have Patrick Kelly, the Executive Vice President of Business Development. Patrick Kelly is responsible for defining the company's growth strategy and solidifying partnerships with key industry players, such as Redtail. Prior to joining the executive team at RetireUp, Patrick co-founded RetPro, a fully automated online financial forms management solution. The success of RetPro led to a strategic partnership with RetireUp and the introduction of RetireUp Pro. And recently, RetireUp acquired RetPro this year. So welcome and thank you, Patrick. I appreciate your time today and looking forward to what you guys have to offer.
Jonathan, it's awesome to be here. Really appreciate you hosting, and this is exciting. This is going to be really fun. This partnership is going to be really cool. A lot of great technology here.
Yeah, you guys have a great product. And so with that being said, I think we should just jump right into it and kind of take a look at maybe how we go ahead and get started using it with Redtail and RetireUp. So for any
that
users,
sounds great.
Yeah, so any users who are already using both platforms, if you're looking to go ahead and get that integration going, to do so, we're going to go ahead and Patrick's going to go ahead and drive here. We're going to head up to the top right-hand corner, and we're going to click into the integrations. So you have the option there or under the account. And we're going to go down and we're going to hit the Redtail CRM. We're going to hit that icon right there that says connect. And it's a really easy, simple connection to go ahead and create because all we need to go ahead and do is put in our credentials for Redtail. And all we have to do is hit connect. Now, once that's activated, I'm not going to try to steal your thunder there, Patrick, but I do want to let everybody know that we're going to be able to pull in some of that data from Redtail to go ahead and automatically populate some of the forms that are already going to be in RetireUp. And the one thing that I want to point out here is that just like a good practice when using Redtail is that we're only as good as the data that we have within the CRM. So we want to be making sure that we're using those good data best practices like Redtail usually promotes to make sure that when we pull in that data from the CRM into RetireUp, that it's all that good, clean data and that we can go ahead and keep using it efficiently. So with that being said, as long as that's all taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you, Patrick, and do your thing.
Awesome, Jonathan. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I think, especially with the integration, you're just going to be able to leverage that data a lot more. So like you said, I can't stress it enough. Once you put good data in one time, if you have these systems connected, you're going to be able to re-leverage that. And it becomes more and more valuable. So I'm going to take you from our integrations page into our clients page. So just clicking the client button at the top. And then if I hover over the plus sign, we can now see that we have the ability to add a client from Redtail. So I'm going to come in here and type in Max Sample, say. And what I'm doing is I'm searching the database for client's name, Max Sample. I have to, I'll bring over Max A Sample, middle initial A. And basically right now we're pulling all of the data. And one of the core things that I'm going to highlight as I go through the platform is how deeply integrated Redtail is inside of RetireUp and how much value you can gain through this integration. So one of those integration points is actually right here. This is an ability to send a profile or a fact finder out to a client. So a questionnaire in other terms. And when you do this, a client can actually fill all this information out, send it back to RetireUp, and RetireUp can send it to Redtail. So you can actually create an account from RetireUp inside of Redtail. And that will allow you to, again, not to have to do all this duplicate data entry. So it's a key feature that a lot of advisors love. And my background as well as a financial advisor, I've definitely used this system. My practice, when I entered this piece into it, definitely became more efficient. I'm going to continue just for the demo without sending it out to anybody. But that brings us into the profile that we've created for Max. We have financial plans, which is where I'm going to spend a lot of our time today. We have new business forms. So after we bring over a client from Redtail, go through our planning session, we can go into forms and we can actually build out and submit new business, whether we kind of started out inside of the annuity space, but we've been expanding to custodians as well with TD Ameritrade and Fidelity, but definitely really strong in the FIA space right now. The core pieces that you're seeing inside of the platform that we brought over from Redtail right now, you're going to see, kind of that basic information around this client, who they are, where they reside, their phone number, all of that stuff that you would expect to come over. But then we also have the ability to bring over spousal information or family information from Redtail into RetireUp. And the reason why this is important, it's actually a really neat feature that I'm going to highlight a little bit later, is we're actually going to be able to assign an individual a role inside of an application. So what that means is instead of filling out a bunch of information about, let's say, a beneficiary, I can just select who the beneficiary is. Let's say in this case, it's the spouse, it's the 100% primary beneficiary, and all of that information will waterfall into that beneficiary role. So you don't have to duplicate or re-enter any of that information. Now, the next piece to highlight here inside of the client's profile is accounts. So here from Redtail, I brought over 3 accounts. You can see the source here is Redtail. I brought over 3 accounts: a brokerage account, a 401k, and a cash equivalent account. And what's really neat about this is not only am I bringing over the account values, which you're seeing, but when I go inside and build out a plan, you're actually going to see that we're also bringing over the holdings level information. So how are these accounts actually being invested? And we'll be able to build that into our analysis when we build out a financial plan. So with that said, I'm going to segue into a financial plan and show everyone the power of, again, re-leveraging all this information from Redtail, but also building out a very robust plan in a very short period of time. So I'm going to click on plans and we'll add a plan. And I think one of the things you're going to notice here is that I'm not doing a lot of data entry as I'm going through. And one is certain, point number 1 there is certainly the Redtail integration. I'd say point 2 is we have a lot of really nice defaults in the system. So you can kind of cruise through a plan pretty fast and get to answering those core questions that your clients are dying to know. Do I have enough money to retire? When can I retire? All of those things. How much money do I need to save in order to retire? Those core questions that clients really want to know, we can get to those quickly. So I'm going to take you through, there's these steps up top, these 6 steps. I'm going to take you through these, spend time on some more than others. So info is one where I won't spend too much time. The only thing I'm going to come and do here is add the salary. So I'm just going to say, let's do on my annual salary. And we'll say the client makes $120,000 a year. The rest of this data came over from Redtail. And in this case, the spouse isn't currently working. And then we have just our first goal. So we are a goal-based planning platform. Our first goal is, when do we want to retire by? And then also we have this nice slider here so we can plan for longevity based on family history or just a conversation with the client to better understand the appropriate measures to take when factoring in longevity for the client. So I'm going to hit continue, and then that's going to take us over into sources. Now, for sources, there's a couple of things I'm going to input. The first thing in terms of income is going to be, this is retirement income. So we already said that Max made $120,000 a year, but after he stops working, where is the income going to be coming from? So these are things like Social Security and pension. And what's really nice is when I click on Social Security, it's automatically going to fill the Social Security amount in for me. And the way that it's doing that is that actually, because we already entered in the client's salary, we're using a quick calc, which is an integration with socialsecurity.gov that allows us to say, okay, based on the fact that you're going to retire at age 65 and that you're making this much money, we could assume that your Social Security is going to about be $30,000 a year. And so that's what this tool is doing for you. Now, you can, of course, override it if the client comes in very organized and hands you their statement, but it's a really nice way to carry momentum forward inside of the conversation. So I'll just hit continue there and add that SOC. And then the other one that I'm going to add is I'm going to add SOC for Ruby. And I mentioned that Ruby was not working, so I'm just going to enter in roughly half of what Max was making as the spousal benefit, and then just hit continue. So after we do that, we're going to continue forward from income into assets. And as I mentioned previously on the client page that we just came from, we brought over all these accounts. These are coming from Redtail. See, if I hover over these sync icons, you can see that we synced this 6 minutes ago from Redtail. So I can update any of these accounts in real time if I want to get the appropriate account balance and also the holdings. I'm going to jump into one of these. I mentioned the holdings previously. I'm going to show you, in fact, that we are bringing over the holdings. So here are holdings that were brought over directly from Redtail into our financial plan. So we're moving very quickly through this plan. We're already filled out the key pieces to building out this client's financial plan going forward. So the reason why I'm showing you these ticker symbols, and I've talked about this a little bit, is because we're going to do a risk analysis. So we're going to use the actual holdings that the client has inside of their accounts to help them understand how much market risk and how much market exposure they have, and basically build a plan around their comfortable risk tolerance. So I'm going to hit done there. And then life insurance and liabilities. This is a partner spotlight, so I'm going to stay a little bit more high level. If you have questions and want to go into more deep financial planning concepts or kind of talk with myself or anyone else, one of the RetireUp coaches, definitely I encourage you to set that meeting up. But I'm going to stay a little bit high level here and just show you the core pieces of value add from the platform. So I'm going to skip over life insurance and liabilities, and I'm going to go right into expenses. So here we have a number that was brought over from Redtail, $81,600 a year, starting at retirement, essential retirement income need. If you want to change this or adjust it in any way, you just kind of type something in and kind of override it. Anything in blue inside of RetireUp is kind of like a big clue or hint saying, hey, you can change this. So anything, you can slide this around if you want to include more inflation inside the plan. If you want to change the survivor goal, all that is adjustable. If you want to get more detail oriented with expenses and you kind of plan for a long-term care event or some special travel over a certain period of time in your life, that can all happen inside of this expenses tab as well. So these first three steps that we've gone through together are really input steps. So now what we're going to be doing is getting to what I would call the client conversation. So the next piece is going to be portfolio, and I'm going to stay kind of high level on the portfolio. I'm going to talk to it a bit, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to look at these accounts here. And so let's say we're looking at just the sources used. So this basically $1 million roughly. We have Max's brokerage account and we have Max's 401k. And I mentioned the ticker symbols earlier. So the ticker symbols that are inside of these two investment accounts, we're looking at a 20-year historical on those ticker symbols. And what we're doing is we're looking at 12-month period of time within that 20-year historical. And we're saying, hey, over a 12-month period, what is the worst that this investment mix has ever done? And in this case, it's $150,000. And what we can see here inside of our potential gain is the best it's ever done is roughly $400,000. Now, what I have the ability to do is I can have a conversation with the client around whether or not they're comfortable with their current risk tolerance. So I could say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, are you comfortable that the fact that you could lose $150,000 inside this account? If not, we should probably reshape your plan to make sure that you stick with it even when the market doesn't perform too great. Because if you get into a situation where you sell all your holdings and you abandon the plan, well, then the plan's not any good, is it? So we want to build a plan that actually meets, what you're trying to accomplish in good times and in bad times. So maybe I kind of scale this back. We had through our conversation, we find out the client's maybe a little bit more conservative. And I find that having the conversation in terms of, how much money you could lose or how much money you could gain in terms of the numeric value, that really sheds some light on, where the client is potentially comfortable or not comfortable. So then what we can do is we can now set the new risk tolerance, which we've done here. So they're 58, so they're kind of moderate to maybe a little bit more on the aggressive side, but pretty much moderate. And maybe they want to be a little bit more conservative. Maybe 11% is kind of the most they would be willing to lose. So I'll hit proceed to detailed view. And then what this does is it takes that image, this risk zone that was in the middle, and it moves it down to the bottom. And we can see, currently they're a 58 and they want to be a 46. We can also see that here with the red having more downside than they want. And they can also see the brackets here showing their desired risk target. So I could come in here and select my models. And so these are just stock names. Apparently I wasn't too creative with conservative, moderate, and aggressive, but you have your own managed models if you're an RIA or an IAR. And all of those can be uploaded here. We can also get into some other features around managing your models. But again, if you have any detailed questions on that, happy to answer afterwards, or you can reach out to us directly. But we can click on these portfolios and actually see how they fit or do not fit with inside of the client's plan. So we can see right here this moderate plan. If I click on that, we can see I'm now inside the client's risk tolerance. So it's a 45 out of a 40, and they want to be a 46. So we're right in line. It's getting about a 6.23% return. And now we've started to put the client into a investment model that actually meets their risk tolerance. So that's the first piece. There's lots of other things we can do in terms of diversifying further this model and kind of adding different models here. And so those are more complex features or more, I guess, advanced features. And so definitely would like to talk and walk through those for anyone who's interested. But that's a way that you can have that risk conversation and recommend a new model. So the next step I want to take everyone to is the financial plan. And this is where RetireUp has really kind of cut its teeth and become known in this space. And the one thing that I would point out to everyone is the dynamic nature of this platform is, it's simply, I mentioned it at the very beginning of, answering those clients' questions right there, right on the fly, dynamically. They're more participating in the planning discussion instead of you talking at them. And I found when I change that type of when I have a different conversation with them and talk to them as opposed to at them, my sales went up. And I really believe that this platform helps you do that really well. So I'm going to give you the lay of the land of this screen here. So this is a cash flow analysis. And these are the years before retirement. And then we mark retirement with a green R. And then you also have end. So that's when they pass away. We said they'd both pass away at age 90. And then we have this proprietary measurement called the income stability ratio. And what that's telling us is that 55% of this client's investments, assets or income in retirement is coming from guaranteed income sources, meaning the inverse, 45% of income is coming from market-based assets. And I mentioned the dynamic nature, and I told you earlier, anything in blue can be changed. So let's say I change, our taxation all the way up to, let's say, like 25% taxation. Let's say, taxes are going up in the future and we want to account for that. Or maybe the client says, hey, my taxes are higher. Whatever it is, whatever kind of curveball they throw at you, RetireUp Pro is built to answer those curveballs and those questions. And maybe we take inflation up to be a little bit higher. And we're assuming a 5% return. So we're assuming a 5% return on your investment, and that might be okay. I think, that's probably pretty reasonable and not outside of being prudent at all. So, but what is a little bit unreasonable is the fact that we're saying they're basically in a 5% CD. It's compounded 5% returns. And we know that's not how the market reacts or works. So what we can do is go outside of a fixed environment and go into a more marketed simulated environment called our variable view. And now we can look at an average market sequence. And this is what I call stress testing your cash flow, also more popularly referred to as sequence of returns risk. And it really helps the client understand sequence of returns risk and show them whether or not, regardless of what market environment they're in, they're still okay in terms of meeting their retirement income goals. So I can click positive and show them that, they've got about $1 million projected legacy at the end, $4 million projected legacy at the end of life, and they don't have a shortfall. But I could also say, hey, what happens if we keep this 5% the same? So this 5% return, the exact same, and I go from a positive to a negative market sequence. And I didn't change anything. Taxation still 25%, and inflation, I meant to do 3. And I can go back and show you guys that it's still good at 3. So I go to negative, and taxation and inflation is still set at 3%, and we have a shortfall. So we didn't change any of our assumptions. We just changed the fact that at the beginning of retirement, or kind of right before retirement happens, we had some negative years as opposed to all positive years. And so that's the power of stress testing cash flow. And so what we can come in here and do is RetireUp is a financial planning tool. So there are these financial planning concepts inside of the software. We can solve for this shortfall. So I could say, hey, maybe Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you don't live on as much money in retirement. Maybe we peel back your retirement goal a little bit. Or maybe you save more between now and retirement, and you peel back now and you save $14,400 a year, and you solve that shortfall. So just a really powerful tool to, 1, show them sequence of returns, and 2, to help them answer those questions about, kind of, okay, if I do have a shortfall, what should I do about it, or what can I do about it? The other option is maybe they work a little bit longer. So how long do I need to work until I can retire? There might be your answer. But the other option could be, hey, as financial advisors, we're strategists. So one of the things we want to do is we want to build out a strategy that puts the client into a better place or space than they were before they met us. And one of the ways to show them that is by just repositioning dollars. So maybe a conversation might go like this and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I see here you've got about $761,000 inside of your 401k. It's just accumulating money. You obviously have an income problem here. What if we looked at positioning a product that was specifically designed to distribute income? Maybe that could solve your retirement shortfall. So this is a very special piece of the software. It's a huge differentiator, and no one else does it. We're literally building the product inside of the context of the client's financial plan. So you can almost test products and see which ones solve a shortfall and which ones do not. So I'm going to come in here, and this is a grouping of fixed index annuities that we have. I'm going to select the Nationwide New Heights 12. Let's say they start income at age 71. We work with the actuaries at the insurance companies to build these products out. So this is actually modeling the product, and again, inside of the plan. No one else does this. It really is, at least for me, it was a game changer inside of my practice. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to be able to compare these plans. So I'm going to be able to compare where the client is today versus where I want to take them. Let's say we put a portion of their money into this Nationwide New Heights 12 annuity. So I'm going to add a new draft. And now you can see we have 2 drafts up here. So their current draft and the Nationwide New Heights 12. And I haven't added any money inside of here yet. So we've got the 401k still has all the money. We have that 44% income stability ratio. Everything's the same as you noticed. They ran out of money at the end of life, which we see here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some money out of the 401k and put it into the annuity, Nationwide New Heights 12. Hopefully what we can do is solve or reduce this shortfall. We're going to also increase the income stability ratio because this annuity has a rider on it, an income rider. And then also we should be able to, if we do it all right, increase the projected legacy. So let's slide some money in here and see how this all ends up working out. Yeah, so it's working really well, actually. This is great. So this one's working really well. So by putting, let's say $532,000, and I can put in an exact number if I'd like, $532,000 into the Nationwide New Heights annuity. They didn't have to save more. They didn't work any longer. They didn't spend any less. All they did, again, was re-strategize and reposition their assets. And now they have a $200,000, almost $180,000 projected legacy. They no longer have a shortfall, and they have a greater income stability ratio. So there's lots of conversations that you can have inside this system. Some are more assets under management focused, like I hit on previously. Some are more insurance-based focused, but it's a nice balance between the two. And so this is one of the conversations that I have used this software to have with my clients in the past, and it has really proved to be a powerful conversation that has converted more clients for me, which hopefully you can hear my voice, which is why I am so passionate about it, and I guarantee you it would change your business. And we have an output that we can go into, but again, I want to stay high level here. The last thing I'm going to show you inside of the plan is the compare step, where I can actually show the client. So, there's gives and takes with an annuity, and no one's saying, it's all rainbows. What I am saying is, if you have a specific goal to not outlive your assets, and you're okay with, not having as much liquidity, then maybe that is the product for you. And you get to have that conversation with the client make sure they understand, obviously, the pros and the cons. Everyone knows that. But we would then, let's say this is the right fit and they select the annuity. What's really cool about this system is we talked about leveraging data. I think this system makes it even more important that you're entering your information into Redtail correctly, because you're going to leverage it over and over again. So we leveraged it once inside of just bringing the client into RetireUp. We leveraged it another time when we were building out the financial plan. And here I'm about to show you a third time where we leverage the information when we generate forms. So now we're going to build a new business form. So let's say I put $532,000 in here. 532K. So I'm just nicknaming this because what if I have more than one Nationwide New Heights 12 annuity? I'm going to call this a so I'm just calling it, hey, here's the amount, the premium that we put in, and it's a qualified annuity. So that's my nickname I gave it. And now I'm going to add the form. And now what we're going to see is that these forms populate. So all I did was create that form. I just said, hey, I want to do a Nationwide New Heights 12. And all of a sudden now we have 36% of this form completed, and I haven't touched one thing. So that's the fourth way that we're going to be able to leverage Redtail's data. And then there's more. The fifth time, this is pretty cool. So I'm going to exit out of that form. I'm getting pretty excited now, guys. So I'm going to go I built out another form for everyone so they didn't have to watch me enter in information. So this one's 94% complete. So I'm just going to hit continue on that one. We see we're going to be 94% complete, which is what our progress indicator is going to give us. Perfect, 94% complete. And let's say I want to continue. What it's going to do is it's going to make a to-do list for me. So it's going to say, hey, wait, stop. You got a few issues you haven't completed yet. All right, let's take me to this. So one thing I haven't called out, which I normally do, and I meant to, so let me just go back for 2 seconds here, is this is a standardized form. So let's say you're filling out TD Ameritrade or Fidelity application or New Heights 12 or an Allianz Q22, whatever it is. Whatever you're filling out, it's going to always look and feel the same. Same interface. We're going to reuse many of the same questions. So again, that's why this Redtail integration is so important. Now, here's this to-do list that I created. So do you have transfer paperwork? Everyone loves transfer paperwork, am I right? So we're going to say yes. And now we're going to bring a new section in called transfers and replacements. And I just want to show you this really cool integration that I do believe separates us a bit here on the form side of things. It's going to pull up a database for all the carriers. So right now I'm saying, hey, I'm going to pull money away from Fidelity Investments and put it inside of this Nationwide New Heights form. It was a 401k. So I'm going to select the 401k department, and then it automatically gives me the correct number, the address, all of that stuff that's appropriate for me to send this form to Fidelity to make sure I send it to the right place. I'm not joking. This has saved me. I'm sure all of you have been here where you sent it to the wrong place on accident. Literally, it's saved me weeks. And so just a big feature I like to call out and highlight. All right, so I'm going to go and say no to the transfer paperwork. I just wanted to show you that. And the next thing I'm going to show you is the beneficiaries, because I promised you I would at the very beginning of this call. So we have individual, and now all I'm going to do is select Ruby as the primary beneficiary, and boom, all of this information has come in from Redtail, everything with one exception of the beneficiary percentage. So we still select that, and we're using the same address as the spouse, so we're good there, and we just hit save. And now we completed this entire application 100%, and so that would be the fifth place that this Redtail integration and where you were able to leverage data, again, 5 times throughout this financial planning process and submission process of these forms. Now, the last piece, and I'm going to wrap it up here. So the last piece is in the review step. So questions interface is the most dynamic and efficient way to enter in information into a new business form. So what we've done is we've put this review step in here, which essentially applies all of those questions and all of those answers that you provide to the questions on the form itself for the insurance company or the custodian. You can print the form from here. You can add attachments. You can add notes. There's lots of different functionality that you have inside of this review interface. But then also, if you'd like, you can do electronic signatures. So here it's roles-based signature. So if you had more roles than this, maybe you had a joint owner or something like that, you would have a third role, and you click start and that person would sign it. I'm just going to show you one signature, take a couple of minutes here and show you how it works. It's crazy easy. So I just come in here, I select e-signature. We can do remote e-signature, signed by hand as well. So here's the advisor signature. I'll agree to the disclaimer. I'll type in my name. So there's no additional technology needed. I'm literally using my keyboard right now to type in my name and my initials. I create a signature. Now it's going to basically ask me some questions. This is stored for you, so you only enter it in once and then you never enter it in again. But the reason we're asking for this information is because we're going to do a LexisNexis ID check just to make sure you are who you say you are. So we're going to use that information to generate questions about your past. You have to get 3 of 4 correct. And because this is a demo account, I just hit all of the above. And let me hear, yeah, so I answered all those. I hit submit. Again, 3 or 4 correct. And now all I do is apply my signature to all the signature locations. Now, RetireUp knows all the areas that you need to sign. So you'll never miss a signature location, and everything will always be in good order when you're using this platform. So that is an end-to-end platform. I don't want to bother you with going through the same process for the client because it literally is the exact same. The last step is submit. But I did want to show you the whole entire platform. I'm pretty excited for everyone to be exposed to this for the first time because we've been working on this for a very long time, and we really feel like it's ready to take the world by storm. And this Redtail Spotlight is one of the first times we're really introducing it into the wild. And it's something that I'm personally extremely excited about, and it's been under a ton of testing, and advisors that we've been using it with for over a year now have been seeing tremendous success. So we're extremely excited about what everyone's getting into with this platform here. The last place where I would end it is there's an awesome deal that we have, and we really wanted to make sure that because we're partnered with Redtail, and Redtail and RetireUp came together, and we wanted to provide a special offering for advisors who use both and take advantage of the relationship. So generally speaking, our free trial is only 14 days at RetireUp. But what we've done is we've extended our free trial to 30 days. So for anybody that has a Redtail account, you would go to register at www.retireup.com/Redtail, and that will give you the 30-day free trial, so the extension on the free trial. But then in addition to that, and this is pretty awesome in terms of a discount because we almost never do these, we're giving Redtail users an additional $500 off. So normal retail price, annual retail price for Pro is $1,500 for the year. And so through Redtail, the Redtail discount, it will be only $1,000 per seat or per license. So a great savings, and also you get it for basically a month free. So I'm telling you, it's worth spending. I mean, there's literally no risk, 30 days free. But I'm telling you, you're going to see a change in the way that you're having client conversations, and also in a way that the clients are responding to you. And I can say that confidently because one, I've heard it from advisors, but two, I've actually been an advisor, kind of seeing the reaction of clients on their faces when I implement this system. So I'm extremely excited about it. And with that said, I'll hand it back all over to Jonathan and, let you take it from there.
Great. Hey, Patrick, that was awesome. I know I'm not even a financial advisor, and I know I'm excited about it. So I really appreciate you coming by, stopping by today, talking us through all the great features of RetireUp Pro. With that being said, if you have any additional questions, go ahead and reach out to www.retireup.com. There's going to be some great help there. And like always, if you have any questions about Redtail, always feel free to reach out to us at 1-800-206-5030, or you can always shoot us an email at support@redtailtechnology.com. We want to thank all of you for spending some time with us today, learning about RetireUp and Redtail. And so with that, I say, have a great rest of your day.